Software developer versus software engineer. What's the difference? This is an article by Forbes. My wife sent it to me this morning and she said, "Hey baby, check out this article. It's really gonna piss you off." And I said, great. I said, I love starting my morning with a hot cup of irritation. Let's do this. So here we go. This article is from Forbes, software developer versus software engineer. What's the difference? And I'm just gonna hot take before I even get into this. There's no difference. There's no difference at all. Because IT professionals never really sat down and decided what to call ourselves. And when you're looking through job ads, whether it's looking for programmer or developer or engineer, it's all the same thing. So no difference at all. Look at the job description, see what the job actually entails, and then apply for it if you're qualified. And most job ads, they'll have at the top, here's our primary things, whether it's Java, C#, C++, whatever. And then there's a whole list of nice to haves. And if you meet the core and you have several of the nice to haves, then apply for the job. Developer versus engineer versus programmer does not matter at all. So that's my hot take. So let's jump into this. Software does play an essential role in how we function in our daily lives. We do rely on computer applications and software. So what is a software developer? They design, develop, and customize computer software applications for many industries. They identify needs, develop software to meet those needs, and test and modify the software as needed. This is all true. They often work directly with clients or as part of a team of developers, engineers, and programmers. Okay, again, if you're working at a company, this is all one position. They're typically not going to do that. And they're going to create software solutions that meet users' specific needs. Very true. BLS says we earn a median salary of $127,000. That sounds pretty accurate from, my peers and the people I know. That's actually on the low side, actually. Most of my senior developer friends are making significantly more than that. I know it's a median, so it's not an average. So, all right, there's some statistical stuff going on in there. So that's probably true, but that doesn't feel as well compensated for the entire field. So anyway, moving along. Employment is projected to increase 26%, also true. Education requirements. They typically need a bachelor's in software engineering, applied computer science, data science, or software development, or a related discipline. This is not true. If you go out and look at the Stack Overflow survey, for example, or you go out and look at other industry statistics, it typically runs around half, but about half of developers do not have formal education in software development. A lot of companies demand a degree of some kind, but that's becoming less and less over time. So I take issue with that. I don't think that's true. It's not been the experience of me. It's not been the experience of anybody who's gone to a coding bootcamp. Oh, speaking of coding bootcamps, additionally, coding bootcamps can be an excellent option for developing specific skills and gaining hands-on experience in skills like programming. This is true. Now, the problem here with colleges is that the job of being a software developer is very vocational. I always tell people it's kind of the difference between being an electrical engineer and an electrician. Software developers and programmers and software engineers, we build applications. It's a practical, vocational skill. And a lot of colleges, they tend to focus more on the theory side of things instead of the vocation. And that's why people come out of those programs with gaps. So you will have somebody with a computer science degree who can't find a job. And that's usually because there's a gap between the theory that they learned and the vocational skills that they didn't learn. Now, I'm not going to tell you that most boot camps are filled with technical degree people, because they're not. I ran a boot camp for 4 years. I owned and operated. I started one of the first .NET and Java boot camps in the world back in 2013. And I can tell you that the mix of students we had, about 70% of them had some college degree. And of that 70%, only a handful had a technical degree. Most colleges do a decent job of teaching the vocation as well. They're not as good as a boot camp because they don't get to weave things together the way a boot camp does as far as the vocation is concerned. But the students that had technical degrees, they were coming out of programs that did almost no vocation at all, which is awful. To pay 6 figures for a technical degree and not get the job skills along with it is one of the greatest ripoffs in higher education. Daily tasks. So, yep, they plan, design, customize, test, and maintain software applications. That's actually absolutely what they do. And they use computer programming languages such as Python, C++, Java, JavaScript, CSS. CSS and HTML aren't really programming languages, so I'm going to quibble with that a little bit. Those are more view technologies. These other 4 are 4 of the 5 that I usually recommend people start with the notable one that's missing here is C#. They would have been better off taking off CSS and HTML and putting C# on this list if they're talking about programming languages that get people jobs, because you typically don't get a job knowing just CSS or just HTML. That's just not a thing. They're involved in all stages of software development. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yep. They work with other people. They do. An average annual. So up top, they compared a median, and down here, they're using an average. So right away, I'm going to bust on this author because you're mixing your statistics. Medians and averages are not the same thing. If you're doing a compare and contrast, you need to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. You're not doing that here, so not happy about that. $91,000. Well, yeah, because it's an average, not a median. So while the BLS doesn't provide growth data specifically for software engineers, that's because software developers and software engineers are treated as the same thing in the field. So there is no reason for the BLS to split those people out. My wife was right. I'm irritated. This is a dumpster fire so far. Education requirements, again, they're going with the technical degree, and again, they're pimping the coding boot camps. I mean, okay, so what is the difference? Like, you're saying the same thing. Was this written by ChatGPT? It's starting to feel like it was written by ChatGPT. So we've got words. So one of the ways you can tell something is written by a ChatGPT or an LLM is you've got words that make sense together, but the meaning is not good. It's disjointed. It's mixing statistics. It's, these are things that ChatGPT and large language models do. They put out sensible BS. So moving along, the daily tasks. Yeah, those are pretty much the same. You just listed the same languages as you did. So you're just proving my point here that these are the same. You just listed the same languages. Okay. Yeah, my irritation level is rising as I read this, because there's people out there who don't know anything about coding and they're interested in the field, and then they come across Forbes and they think, wow, Forbes, that's a really big name, trusted name. And then they give them this nonsense. Oh, okay. So similarities, yeah, they both write programs. They both do these things. They both write code. Yeah, those are good similarities. Now they're throwing in Ruby on Rails, Spring, Django, and Turbo Gears. That's not really useful information. I mean, Ruby on Rails works with the Ruby language, which you didn't even mention up above. So again, you're mixing things that you're not being consistent with the things you're talking about. This is a recipe for confusion for somebody who doesn't live in this field. So they do overlap, but key difference. Okay, I want to know this. This is the key differences. Software engineers take on a big picture role that considers all components of a project to ensure it meets stakeholders' requirements. I would say that software developers do that too. Software developers maintain and develop software to solve specific problems. Okay, so this thing, a stakeholder, that's the person that wants the software developed. That's your marketing department, finance, whoever is using the software is typically your stakeholder. They're the person you're trying to please. They're the ones that are bringing you the problems that need to be solved. This is written in a way that sounds sensible, but it doesn't make sense at all. Again, this is taking me right back. I'm wondering, ChatGPT, are you actually writing articles, or are you having ChatGPT do it for you? Because this is not a difference. Both of them would do this. This is what any professional developer does. Okay. Software developers make sure that software functions effectively, while software engineers ensure that software meets requirements. Oh yeah, because I regularly in my professional career have a stakeholder come to me and say, here's my requirements, but I don't really care if your software is effective. This is ridiculous. Okay. Software engineers typically work with end clients, software developers, and non-technical stakeholders. No, they both do that. This is not a difference. This is completely wrong. Both of them do this. So, congratulations. You have published a big nothing burger of misinformation, and my wife was right. I have started my morning with a hot cup of irritation. Oh, and here's your ad so that if you want to click on some boot camps and give Forbes some money, you can do that. Now, I don't really want to put this person on blast, but I just got to look and see. Yeah, you're not a technical professional. You're a writer, and it shows, because if you had actually talked to a professional before writing this article, you would have never written this article in the first place. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my hot cup of irritation. I hope it made your day a little better. If there's anything else you would like me to react to, post it in the comments, post it in the channel. I'm always looking for things to talk about.